From Camp KVU Local News, this is Good Morning Northwest.
Good morning and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, February 23rd. I'm Neil Fischer. Strong winds lasted all day yesterday, but we can still expect them around today and into the coming days. Chief Meteorologist Kristin with us here. Kristin, what can we expect?
Yeah, we will see some improvement at least today. There's no longer a wind advisory in effect, but yeah, it's still going to be a bit breezy at times. So let's get you started first with that live look on downtown Yakima. You can see the flag there flying in the background. Winds, at least for you this morning, haven't been too bad. I think the majority of the area and where we're seeing the most of our winds right now, especially around Pendleton, your sustained winds up to about 24, 13 in the Tri-Cities, and then Dayton this morning, a sustained wind close to 15 miles per hour. So wind gusted 30 to 40 miles per hour. There are your temperatures. We continue to drop. We're in the upper 30s. Wind chill values at times are down into the upper 20s. So that's what it feels like as you step outside the door this morning. Clear and quiet locally, but we still even have some mountain snow showers popping up. So we'll have a few clouds this afternoon, maybe a slight chance for a stray shower. And we're looking at that high temperature today of 52 degrees. But we have more wind ahead in this forecast. I'll have more details and what you can expect, Neil. It's all coming up.
Thank you, Kristin. More than 24,000 customers are still without power in Northwest Oregon. 10 days after a series of powerful ice storms, the majority of the outages were in Clackamas County, where more than 8,700 people were still in the dark on Monday. Marion County accounted for another 7,800 outages, with the rest scattered among Multnomah, Polk, Washington, and Yamhill counties. Portland General Electric said last week it hoped to have power restored to most customers by Friday night. But officials with the utility said extensive damage has increased the work to be done. The exact date when power to everyone will be restored is still unknown. With Oregon counties starting to get out of the extreme coronavirus restrictions Governor Brown imposed at the end of last year, now there's a push to get restaurant workers to the front of the line for vaccines. Some restaurants are allowed to bring customers inside once again. But if they have an outbreak, it could mean weeks of shutdown that businesses just can't afford.
We have restaurants that have zero savings. They may have just gotten their second round of PPP, but they also may have not gotten that second round of PPP, which means that there is no funds to support that closure.
Advocates are pushing to get restaurant employees classified as essential workers, but it's unclear when or if that will happen. This brings us to our poll question of the day. Should restaurant employees be considered essential workers? Vote now at yaktrinews.com/vote, and we'll have those results at the end of the show. An Oregon hospital system says it has 0 COVID-19 patients in critical care at its Portland facility. This marks a major step in the fight against the virus. With 0 COVID-19 patients in critical care at Providence, Portland for the first time in a year. Nurses say this gives staff hope that we will get through this, but it's been a long road to get here.
When we were in November, December, things were really heavy. We were kind of headed into that second surge. People were very tired, just kind of physically and mentally worn out.
A few months ago, Providence says its Portland Medical Center hit its highest number. There were 94 COVID-19 patients, 10 in critical care. Now, its Portland Center has only 2 non-critical COVID-19 patients. Providence says across its 8 hospitals in Oregon, to date, it's cared for more than 2,300 COVID-19 patients. Seattle Public Schools announced Monday that it was delaying a return to in-person learning until at least March 8th because of a snag in reaching an agreement with the teachers union. In a statement posted to its website, the district said it has not yet negotiated new working conditions with the Seattle Education Association. Last year, the school board ordered its staff to begin working on a plan to allow students and teachers to return to class in a phased approach, which would have them back on campus by March 1st. The decision has many parents upset.
I'm concerned about us even starting in the fall. I hope that they're able to come to some agreement. Thinking of the parents, the teachers, and the union all in unison, and the kids most of all, to get them back into the schools.
The school board is scheduled to have a special meeting on February 25th at 4 p.m. to discuss next steps in its reopening plan. The CDC is now saying that teachers who get COVID-19 may be the center of many cases in schools. This just weeks after officials came out and said teachers didn't need to be vaccinated in order for classrooms to reopen. For the most part, researchers say coronavirus hasn't been spreading in schools, but the CDC looked at 9 small outbreaks in elementary schools outside of Atlanta. A student was patient 0 in just one of those outbreaks. Teachers brought the virus to the classroom in at least 4 of the outbreaks. They weren't able to figure out who started the others. The CDC report says the schools they looked into were not following strict social distancing and mask protocols. Over the weekend, the White House press secretary told ABC News that need for extra space is one of the things President Biden's $1.9 trillion relief proposal could help with.
Many schools across the country don't have the resources to be able to invest in improving facilities, on hiring more bus drivers, on hiring more temporary teachers so we can have smaller class sizes. School districts, working with our Secretary of Education, who we certainly hope will be confirmed this week, need to make a determination about what works best for them based on these CDC guidelines.
The latest coronavirus relief bill includes $130 billion for coronavirus safety steps like more social distancing and better ventilation. Congress is preparing to hold its first votes on the plan this week, and Democrats want to get the final version to President Biden's desk before the federal unemployment boost expires in about 3 weeks. US 2 Stevens Pass is closed from 6 miles west of the summit to Merritt at milepost 80 due to an avalanche and continuing avalanche danger. Yesterday, it reopened for just before 2 o'clock. But 2 hours later, the highway east of the pass closed. An avalanche is blocking a lane on US 2, 10 miles east of the summit. The road was closed overnight, and there were other natural slides overnight as well, plus more caused by avalanche control work. Snoqualmie Pass and White Pass are open, but they could close at any time. At 6:05, let's take a quick break here on Good Morning Northwest. Before we do, Kristin Walls, what's it looking like?
We're looking at some wind still picking up across the area early this morning. Also, a few rain chances I'm tracking here over the next couple of days. Your full forecast is coming up.
Plus, yesterday, the Supreme Court began its February sitting, and we'll tell you how they ruled over some of the nation's most high-profile cases next. Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear a case challenging the Trump era's controversial public charge rule. The rule makes it more difficult for immigrants to obtain legal status if they use public benefits like Medicaid, food stamps, and housing vouchers. A public charge was defined in 1996 regulations as someone who gets more than half their income from government assistance. At the time, it only included cash benefits. But in August of 2019, the Trump administration widened the definition to include more benefit programs. The rule was immediately met with pushback and blocked by courts. It is still in effect in most states. The Supreme Court has also agreed to hear a challenge on a Trump administration abortion rule. The rule in question bars health care providers that receive Title X funding from referring patients for abortions. Title X is a federal program that provides resources like contraception, breast and cervical cancer screenings, and sexually transmitted testing. Abortion referrals tied to Title X are currently in limbo. In 2019, a federal appeals court allowed the rule to go into effect despite legal challenges against it. But in 2020, a different federal appeals court upheld a lower court's block on the rule. Coming up, the United States passes 500,000 coronavirus deaths as the number of people in the hospital is dropping. Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. It's been more than a month and a half since the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol. Now lawmakers begin hearing on what happened and how to keep this kind of thing from happening again. It all kicks off today with a public hearing for a joint investigation by 2 Senate committees. Britt Conway has more from the head of one of those committees on what we can expect and who we'll hear from.
We all saw the horror of what happened.
What happened January 6th when a mob stormed the U.S. Capitol? 5 people died, more than 100 got hurt, and more than 230 have been charged. This week kicks off 2 hearings by different committees to examine the security failures that led to the breach. Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar is the chair of one of those committees. You can see she was inside the Capitol that day. The biggest question she wants answered:
What happened and how we can make sure it doesn't happen again.
Other questions: why was the response from law enforcement delayed? And how were rioters able to breach the building?
There is a lot that we have to unpack.
There are 4 witnesses set to testify Tuesday. The acting chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, the former Senate Sergeant-at-Arms, the former House Sergeant-at-Arms, and the former chief of the U.S. Capitol Police. They were requested to appear based on their critical roles in security planning for that January 6th joint session of Congress to certify the election results. Certainly, the hearing is expected to be a fact-finding mission, but there's also a push to uncover what kind of change needs to happen.
Big decisions have to be made, including who will be hired as a new police chief, and what better protocols can be put in place, what better structure.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
There's at least one other hearing with additional witnesses scheduled for Tuesday. More than 500,000 people have died of coronavirus in the United States. This almost exactly 1 year after the first confirmed coronavirus death. The virus does seem to be slowing down with the number of people in the hospital nationwide. Yesterday, President Biden saying we can't stop fighting.
500,071 dead. That's more Americans who have died in 1 year in this pandemic than in World War I, World War II, and the Vietnam War combined. That's more lives lost to this virus than any other nation on earth. Remember those we lost and those who left behind. But as we all remember, I also ask us to act, to remain vigilant, to stay socially distanced, to mask up, get vaccinated when it's your turn.
The CDC says Americans have gotten more than 64 million doses of coronavirus vaccine, and nearly 20 million have gotten both doses they need to be fully protected from the virus.
Now, Cap gave you first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristin Walls.
And we're slowly starting to see a little bit of some daylight out there. Now, sunrise isn't until 6:45 this morning, but at least we will have some sunshine back early this morning. The wind has still been picking up. We will see some small improvements. We no longer have a wind advisory in effect, but you can see some of our sustained winds right now, close to 15 in the Tri-Cities, 11 in Walla Walla, Pendleton. That's what we're noticing, quite the breezy start to the day, 24-mile-per-hour wind for you. And then, of course, once you switch over and take a look at some of our wind gusts, 38 in Dayton, 34 in Pendleton, and then Hermiston, your current wind gust at 29 miles per hour. So it will be a bit breezy for today as we take a look at Futurecast this afternoon. There's a look at 5 o'clock. We're still keeping those winds 30 to 40 miles per hour, but overnight tonight and into our Wednesday, looking at those improvements, back to some sunshine. Actually, should be a very beautiful day on Wednesday. Thursday, we'll have another system working through, and that will increase our winds once again. We're talking some of our winds gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour, and that will linger as we head into the day on Friday. So it will be nice at least to have a little bit of a break by Wednesday. Temperatures out the door this morning continue to drop. We're actually in the upper 30s, mid 30s there in Walla Walla, but then once you factor in some of those winds, it feels like those numbers are in the upper 20s. So that's really what you want to dress for as you hit the road this morning and head outside. We have, again, a clear start this morning. We still have some snow showers back into those mountains with a winter weather advisory above 3,000 feet there in the northern blues. All these advisories and warnings will go until about 10 o'clock for tonight. Winter weather advisory still in place for the eastern slopes, and a winter storm warning is in effect for the Cascades, with that avalanche warning that continues until about 6 o'clock today. So there's still a lot of unstable through the Cascades, as you'll see through some of those mountain passes. We have Stevens Pass, which is still closed early this morning, and they're looking to reevaluate that as well. So those snow showers continue back through the Cascades. At least Snoqualmie and White Pass, they're back open, but traction tires are required there. There's Stevens Pass, which is still closed, and the Manastash, no travel restrictions, just looking at a clear sky early this morning. So locally, sunshine this morning. We'll have maybe a stray shower or two popping up this afternoon. Beautiful days in store for us on Wednesday, low 50s by the afternoon. And then actually by Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we could see a few showers, maybe a wintry mix in some locations. But this will quickly be moving out towards Thursday afternoon with some sunshine back in the forecast. Although remember, it's going to be a bit breezy on Thursday. So highs out there for this afternoon, low 50s for Toppenish and Yakima, jumping up to 52 Tri-Cities with 50 degrees in Connell. Frost start today at 50. 47 for both Pendleton and also in Walla Walla. So overnight tonight, we will have that partly cloudy sky. Just going to be a cold night. Numbers dipping down into the 20s. So there's your 7 days. Sunshine Wednesday. We'll have maybe a stray shower or two early Thursday morning. We're going to dry out, especially for this weekend with some lighter winds. 50 on Saturday, 52 on Sunday. And then your 7-day forecast for Yakima. Beautiful tomorrow, mostly sunny at 48. Might have a wintry mix early in the day on Thursday and then up to 50 by the afternoon.
Thank you, Kristin. At 6:20, we're going to take a quick break here on Good Morning Northwest. Coming up, the Seattle Mariners president and CEO has resigned after he was heard making some controversial comments about the team. We have your sports news next. Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Seattle Mariners CEO and team president Kevin Mather has resigned after receiving some backlash. It came over comments made during a recent online event where he expressed opinions about organizational strategy, personnel moves, and club finances. The comments came in a speech to the Bellevue, Washington Breakfast Rotary Club on February 5th and were posted online over the weekend. He apologized for them on Sunday after they surfaced. Mariners chairman and managing partner John Stanton now takes on the roles of CEO and team president on an interim basis. Mather was with the Mariners from 1996 to now. He was promoted to CEO and team president in 2017. Seattle Seahawks veteran guard Mike Ayupati plans to retire after 11 seasons in the NFL. Ayupati has said his goal was to hit 10 years in the league. The 33-year-old spent the last 2 seasons in Seattle. The 4-time Pro Bowler also played in San Francisco and Arizona. In college, he was an All-American offensive lineman for the Idaho Vandals. Now, Kristin, let's go to our weather, our picture of the day. Excuse me. We had that great picture yesterday of the skier behind a car or some motorized vehicle, it looked like.
Enjoying some of the snow, but we're switching gears today. We're going to go over to this cute little fur ball. Take a look. This is Leonardo. Just kind of laying back.
Just chilling out.
Life is good. Oh my goodness. But just looks like, he looks like he's the perfect snuggler.
It looks like one of those snowy days, cloudy skies, and he just said, you know what, I'm going to stay in bed today.
Yep. So thank you so much to Linda Dunn for submitting this photo. Head over to yaktrynews.com. That's where you can submit any of your reasons to smile. We have a photos of the day section right at the very top where you can submit your photo.
Coming up on Good Morning Northwest, we're tracking the startling rise in overdose deaths in our area and what you need to be watching for.
And at 6:26, starting to see some of that sunshine, blue sky this morning, but the winds are still sticking with us. We have the chance for a few showers to pop up. I'll have that full forecast coming up during the 6:30 half hour.